Good morning.
Good morning.
If you had asked me 10 years ago if I thought I saw myself in a pulpit, especially this pulpit, I would have thought you were crazy. Especially when you consider that I was that little boy who used to get so bored in church, usually during the sermons, that I would climb under these very pews with my coloring books and kick the underneath as hard as I could because I loved the sound of the boom it made. On a side note, I want to say thank you to those who were here that morning. Thank you for not applauding, at least out loud, when Mom would yank me out on those rescue boards. And I also want to say thank you to all of you, because had it not been for your support, love, and generosity my entire life, I don't think I would happily be where I am this morning. So when Mark invited me to preach here this morning, I became truly excited and feel fortunate to be here and have the opportunity to return to St. Aidan's to worship among you once again. After spending 2 years in seminary reading various theologians and boring my wife Cameron to death with endless talks with classmates about all things church, I mean everything church. We really don't know what else to do there except talk about church, and poor Cameron had to sit there and listen to all of it. So thank you to Cameron for lasting through that. In those years, I've come to the conclusion that I don't know enough, and I have a lot more to learn. And I've also come to the realization that I probably will never learn it all. There's a lot out there. However, there are a number of lessons that have stuck true with me and I have learned intimately. And one is this: it is my job as a preacher, or anybody who preaches, to help you find some way to connect with the day's lessons, scriptures, and gospels. And I don't mean that it's my job to tell you what's in the gospel. It's my job to help you find some way to bring that into your life, to live it, to see it, and to make it part of your life. So when I saw today's gospel lesson, I thought, yes, oh goody, we're talking about greed. This is easy. Piece of cake, right? Who doesn't know about greed? Who hasn't heard it or seen it in their lives? Then when I quickly realized what the lesson is talking about in its fullness, I went, crud. Because this lesson is talking about, or is pointing out the illusions many of us hold on to, myself included, but it's also giving us the blueprints to building an empire. Now, there is no suggestion in this lesson that the man is wicked, or that he would profit or delight in the fate of those who have less than he does. However, there is also no consideration here of others or recognition that the land itself is a gift from God. He feels confident that he is in control. After all, the land is prosperous because he's worked it hard in his entire life, and he's now reaping the rewards. In his private musings, the rich man only thinks of himself and his work and his wealth. And for that reason, and that reason alone, the rich man was a fool. He was a fool because he failed to realize his dependence rested on others. He failed to realize that his prosperity not only came from God's blessings and grace, but from those who worked with him and for him. He is living in an illusion that all of us, and I said it myself included, fall victim to from time to time. That wealth equals possessions. That everything we learn and earn in life comes only from hard work, and that proving our success means showing off the material wealth we have gathered. Now, it's no secret. We Americans live in a materialistic society that puts a premium on the almighty dollar. Now, the dollar is not bad. The truth is that money and possessions are not a bad thing. They are merely the ends that justify the means. Money is just one more tool we use in life. It can help us put food on the table, roofs over the head. It also helps our society develop things like museums, hospitals, schools, civic activities. All of these things can be good, and money is not the cause of evil. What is when we become so focused on obtaining money and materialistic wealth that we begin to put our needs before others, and we forget that we're all God's children. And when we start doing that, we veer very, very far away from God. And that is where we get in trouble. And here's what I mean. Last week, I was walking the dog when a young man was walking down the street, headphones on, singing loudly. You can picture the scene. And if that wasn't what caught my attention, what caught my attention was the phrase he kept saying over and over, which was clearly the refrain. And he was saying it so loudly, it's hard to miss it. Here's the words. The world has given me nothing, so I have found nothing for the world. The man on the street holds out his hands, expecting me to give him something, but I've got nothing to give him because he never gave me anything. That's sad. Here is a man who is clearly letting the words of someone who has clearly become cynical fill his head with thoughts and ideas of a me-first mentality. It is sad to me that in our daily life, we encounter people who are angry, deceitful, intent only on satisfying their own needs. There is so much anger and distrust, greed, and pettiness in the world that some say we are losing our capacity to work well together and to care for those we've never met. This young man is both the victim and the example of how damaging a me-first mentality can be. A me-first mentality blocks us from seeing the illusion for what it is, that wealth has absolutely nothing to do with money. True wealth is about your love and caring for one another. We are all rich in this aspect, and our ability to obtain this wealth is endless. We are truly wealthy when we build empires not of money or power or possessions or land, but when we build empires of people. If we strive to build empires of people that are based in love and acceptance of one another, even for those we have never met, then I truly feel like we are at least halfway to following what Jesus is saying this morning. Let's hear it again. Jesus ends the parable in today's gospel by saying, "So it is with those who store up treasures for themselves, but are not rich toward God. To be rich toward God is to treasure God above all else, to live in faith to share with others, rather than to hoard what God has so freely given." This is a good path to be on. But how do we do this? How do we, in a world that seems to be spiraling out of control, achieve these empires of people? Do we give up? That would be the easiest thing to do. We could give up and only turn to ourselves and think it's just us. But I think that's a threat, and I think that's a danger that we should avoid. For me personally, I like to turn to a phrase of Winston Churchill. It's a very familiar one, and I know many of us have heard it here, but it still rings true. Keep calm and carry on. This saying, first used by the British during World War II, while the Nazis were bombing them, meant keep living, keep calm and carry on. Keep going to work, keep going to school, keep taking care of your family, taking care of each other. Never give up, despite how many bombs fall in your city. Remain steadfast in your lives and love for one another. In today's world, keep calm and carry on can mean the exact same thing. But it also means remaining steadfast in our faith as Christians. Don't get sidetracked by political rhetoric. They're opinions. If they differ from yours, they're different. Don't let the news of violence in the media lead you astray or cause you to give up on each other because you don't know each other. This is the road to cynicism. Don't be greedy with your capacity for sharing compassion and kindness. Keep calm. Carry on. Love your neighbor as yourself. Keep calm and keep worshiping God. Now, in this regard, St. Aidan's is a very wealthy congregation that cares lovingly for one another. For example, when my brother died and I thought my life had ended, it was generous love and support of this congregation that kept my family and I going forward. And I know that love and capacity continues on to this day in this congregation. All you have to do is walk down the hallway and see the pictures that are up, or see the people that are sitting here with smiling faces. It still is alive today. But I wonder if there's more we can do for others outside of this congregation and beyond the surrounding community. Our time has come to build up our empires of people, not in here, not in the community, but everywhere. Empires of people that love and care for each other need to be established. So I invite each of you to find new ways to seek to share your wealth of spirit, the wealth of generosity in your daily lives that is so clearly evident. I invite you to stay true to our faith, approach those who are disillusioned by the worldly greed, who have become self-centered, possibly cynical, and to share what God has so freely given all of us. And remember that empires are built on love, people, and God's grace. Amen.